We have the pleasure of being joined by Carson Beck, who made his way down to South Florida from Athens, Georgia. First and foremost, Carson, how you liking Miami, the whole city, everything that comes with that so far?
Man, I love it. Obviously, it's a big city, a great culture as far as the football team goes, and being around Coach Cristobal, being around the guys, it's been awesome.
And Coach reminded me that this is kind of a full circle thing for you because you were briefly committed to Miami, out of high school at Mandarin, and now you find yourself a Hurricane. Do you ever kind of look back and reflect on those times?
Well, just being from Florida in general to ultimately come back home and be in the state where I grew up in, it's very exciting. I'm very much looking forward to getting into fall camp, getting out there with the guys and finally being able to practice and just ultimately lead us into the season.
Everybody's curious to know how you're doing physically. The last time we saw you in a game, you had the injury, you've had the surgery. Like, how is the elbow and how is everything from that standpoint?
Yeah, I mean, it's doing great. I've been 100% for a while. Obviously, that journey was difficult. It was tough and it very challenging physically, mentally, in all aspects. And then ultimately changing schools as well through that, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot thrown on my plate, but, I have a really good support system. And coming down to this school and how accepting the guys have been, how accepting the coaches have been, have really made that transition simultaneous for me. And I think ultimately helped me as, I was trying to get back into it and ultimately fully recover the injury.
So for these last, couple months for you, since you've had all the full clearance, you've been throwing, you've been working out, what have these workouts been like for you? And have you had a chance to get together with the guys you're going to be throwing to this season?
Yeah, absolutely. I think our offseason has been awesome. I mean, Coach Irv stepped in for us, as far as like the strength and conditioning side of things. The conditioning has been tough. It's hot down there in Miami.
Yes,
the humidity is killer. But man, we've been working as a team. And then outside of that, from more of a player-led perspective and our player-led practices and things like that, being able to get in reps with the wide receivers, the tight ends, the running backs. We're having meetings where, I'm leading the meetings and, the wide receivers are in there. We're going over the intricacies of routes and, progressions and what I'm seeing so that they can see the same thing. Just trying to rapidly build that chemistry, which I think we've done really well. And not only does that come from my side, but I think it comes from their side as well, right? The attention to detail, the focus, the mindset and mentality that wide receiver group has, right? Because the more, susceptible they are to, gaining information and wanting to learn, the better we're going to be. And I think that their mentality has been right on track with that.
Talk to me about some of these guys, from CJ Daniels to JoJo Trader to other guys who were in that room. Just tell me about kind of what makes these guys tick and what makes them special.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the biggest thing is kind of what I just said, is that mentality piece, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys that have something to prove, and that pushes them, right? Not only from that aspect, but also just wanting to learn and be the best that they possibly can be, and putting full trust in me to, help them and teach them, and then ultimately them teaching me as well from their perspective, right? So, it's kind of this like give and take from the wide receiver group and me, and, just ultimately trying to be the best that we can be and, meeting at the top of the pyramid.
So, you, of course, come from a marquee program in Georgia, and obviously that there's a certain way that things are done up there. So like how different is it in Miami, and how much of sort of your mentality that you've built the last few years, how much of that have you been able to translate here in Coral Gables?
Yeah, absolutely. Being at Georgia for 5 years.
That many years, huh?
5 years.
Time flies, man.
It does fly. But I mean, obviously the culture and what Coach Smart has built at Georgia is one of its own. And I'm super thankful to have been a part of that, right? And learn from a guy like him. I wouldn't be the player that I am without him being a coach of me, right? And in more ways than just football, but also just being a man and in life and all those things, and learning life lessons through all the years that I was there, right? But now being in Miami, being able to take what I learned there and my experiences and playing in big games and being around top players that are now excelling in the NFL, right? Just being able to take my experience and bring it to Miami and try to lead these younger guys that are here and establish and kind of mesh into the culture that's already been built at Miami and what Coach Cristobal has been building over the past couple of years. It's been a lot of fun, and I'm excited to continue continue building that, with this team.
Something that I imagine made, playing at Miami appealing to you, not to put words in your mouth, but that offensive line, it's expected to be one of the better units in the entire country, Carson. What are your impressions, your early looks on, from guys like CC Maui Noah, who's here, Big Markel Bell, who's going to be covering your blind side? How confident do you feel in that O-line?
Yeah, you look at them and they're huge, right? They fit the part, they fit the eye test, they pass it very well. But what I love about them is we get done with our PLPs or our workouts, and the whole O-line's out there getting an extra work, right?
Good.
So not only looking at them where it's like, oh my gosh, like I can't wait to play behind these guys, but you see the work that they put in, not only like in our allotted time, but the extra overtime, right? And then I believe we have one of the best O-line coaches in the country, and the way that he's able to push those guys and the way that they respect him and trust him. The sky's the limit for them, and they lead this team for sure.
Transitioning into Shannon Dawson's offense, how similar is it, to what you were in Georgia, and what are some aspects of that offense, without giving away too many trade secrets, of course, that are appealing to you as a quarterback?
Of course. Well, offense is offense at the end of the day, right? Most people run the same concepts, the same run schemes, right? There's inside zone, there's duo, there's counter, there's power, there's outside zone, mid zone. All these different run schemes, right? And then there's your pass schemes, right? That everybody runs. You got your 4 verticals, your mesh, your cross, I could go on and on and on, right? But I don't know. Really, what I've loved about Coach Dawson is his demeanor and the way that he approaches coaching us, right? Obviously, he hasn't really had the opportunity to coach me yet on the field, right? Because I wasn't practicing during spring, and then summer is a lot of player-led stuff, right? But just, observing him and how he approaches it, I really, really love. Obviously, as we get into the season and I learn more about how he game plans and how he calls things from a schematic standpoint, that'll be, us building throughout the season. Obviously, I haven't been around him for that because I haven't ever had a season underneath him. But I'm really excited to, continue to learn from him and ultimately get coached by him this season.
What are your team goals for this year? Is this something you guys have talked about, or how do you look at the season coming up, Carson?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for us is just trying to take things just one step at a time. And I think that's the biggest thing that I've learned throughout my career, honestly, is just one day, try to get better today. And then when tomorrow comes, we'll get better tomorrow, So obviously the next thing in sight is fall camp for us. So I think if we have a really, really elite fall camp, it'll set us up for this season. We have a great schedule. We're really excited about it. We're playing some really good teams. But yeah, if we can have an elite fall camp, I think it'll really set us up for the rest of the season.
Now, talk to me about that running back room. I was just chatting with Coach Cristobal about it. When you've got Mark Fletcher and Jordan Lyle and Marty Brown, who transfers into a lot of personal excitement from me. I think he's a great player. Wheatley Humphrey, Gerard Pringle. I would expect this can be a really balanced offense this year.
Oh, absolutely. And then you pair it with that O-line, like I said, that leads the way of this team with very talented backs. It makes my job a lot easier, which I'm more than excited about, right? I have no problem with sitting there and handing the ball off and watching them go get 5, 6. Then in the third, fourth quarter, those 5-6 yard runs are 10, 12. Next thing you know, breakaway, right? That makes my job easy when we have a good run game. They're more influenced to stack the box. It opens up the pass, right? Offense works in that way. It's like a chess match, right? You take what the defense is giving you, and when we're able to run the ball efficiently, it ultimately opens up the pass game. So
now, I don't know if Cuban coffee was a part of your life in Athens, Georgia.
It is
in
now.
Jacksonville. I was about to say, I'm sure Coach Cristobal got you into that.
Absolutely. I'm a huge coffee guy in general. So,
yeah.
But yeah, since I've been down in Miami, I have been introduced to Cuban coffee, and it now runs my life. So,
and Cuban coffee is like it's medicine, it's caffeine, it's dessert, like it's breakfast.
It's everything. you drink it all throughout the day. It's awesome. I love it.
Carson Beck, well, welcome to Miami. I know we're in Charlotte now, but welcome to Miami, and I know you've got a busy schedule here in Charlotte. So keep up the good work, and we can't wait to watch you on the field.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.